call this meeting of the Maple Run Unified School District Board of Directors to order at 6:05 p.m. Today is August 21st, 2019, and we are in the MRUSD Central Office Boardroom. We have 6 board members present, representing 5.5 votes. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while. Hopefully we'll be quick tonight. I know. First item is, I got a good record though. The first item is the agenda review. Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I look for a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Thanks, Al. Thanks, Steve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5.5 to 0. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I don't see any visitors here tonight. So the next item is the adoption of the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything, all that's on the consent agenda is the minutes of July 17th. Does anybody want to remove those for a discussion? If I don't hear any objections, the consent agenda will be adopted. Okay, the consent agenda is adopted. Old business, we have an update on the early release program.
Good evening, everybody. We attached for you a early release fact sheet that we put out to the community. Sorry.
My fault, I didn't tell him.
That gave some specific information on this subject. We're moving forward with it. We had some nice discussions and a workshop with our new data teams. We'll be working with all the teachers on that Friday afternoon relative to data analysis. And from what Mona tells me, it went well, right?
It went very well.
That's right. It wasn't just Mona. Andrea was there. Alexis, you were there. And all the principals.
All the principals were there.
Yep.
Melanie was one.
Basically, everybody.
Yep. So we believe we have everything in place. Honestly, there still is some concern from some people, just to put it out there, that they are concerned about that hour on Friday because of childcare needs. We understand that, and we've been trying to work through that, as you can see with the fact sheet, trying to have things in place for our kids. And I think we're feeling pretty good about it. Principals, do you have anything you want to add? Angela?
No, early in July I had spoken to one parent who had some questions, but once we spoke, it was pretty workable and understandable. And then we did an additional letter, and I know there's a couple of SATEC parents in the room, won't name any names. So we did send out an updated one in August, and there are a ton of different things that are options for parents. So, and we're using our Family ID sign up, which we've started using for athletics, but it's a really great tool because all the contact information is in one place, and then we actually can have rosters of who's staying for what, and we have some programming at the school and some late pickup arrangements that we've made. And so, I think there'll still be some more signups and things happening as we get into the start of the year, because it's a new thing. But I've talked about it with the teachers a bit, and so they know what's going on. And so right now we're going forward and thinking we're working things out pretty well. I can bring a copy of our letter if anybody. There's 4 different options on here.
If I remember correctly, was there something in the city school announcements about a YMCA program maybe? How did that work out?
So we're still working with them. They have to get childcare licensing. Right now, we're looking at mid-September before they can really start. They were hoping to start on the 3rd, but it looks like they have to actually wait till they have the licensing or they're gonna have some problems. So we're working with them and we're looking that that is going to be a happening thing. So
And so there was interest.
there was definitely interest. We probably had, within 15 minutes of it going out, we had 5 people interested. So that was a pretty quick response.
Good, I'm pleased to see that partnership happening.
Got some unsolicited feedback about this at my last book club meeting. And I'm gonna, I guess, encourage the schools to make sure they're putting out updated information on what the teachers are accomplishing, you know, any good positive PR, because what I heard was really eye-opening from people that are in the school, grandparents, taxpayers, book club members.
Yeah, good point. We do need to do that. And we'd also like to bring, when it's in place and we have some data to give you, we'd like to bring in some teams who could come in and talk to you also.
And that would be great to do pre-K-12,
Agreed? Agreed.
because we're all doing this.
Which is what I pointed out to everyone, that BFA is doing it, and
Yeah.
it's not anything different than a lot of schools, but
It's a change, so.
yeah, it was, you know, teachers taking off Friday afternoon early.
Oh, I bet.
You fixed that though, didn't you?
I fixed it.
Sean, do you have anything else to add before we get off?
I would just say that the teachers are really excited to have the time to be able to do the work on student learning. Sometimes we're not going to be able to share some of what we do because it's going to be student specific. Sometimes it's going to be assessment specific. Like if there's a certain test that all the kids are bombing, then we're going to be talking about that test and that specific information. So not all of that is necessarily going to be fit for public consumption, but I think the communication of what we're accomplishing, I think that's where we're going to get some bang for our
Yeah.
buck.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I think we need to do.
Yeah, totally, and we've had, we did create some options in Fairfield as well for folks, and I've really only had 10 people take me up on them so far, like maximum, and I've got plenty of room, so nobody's really come to me with any concerns yet. I would love it if they want to come directly to me. I'd love to talk to people about things. I just think it's, you know, it's time that we cannot get any other way. And we are gonna be able to do amazing work for kids like we did in my school in Florida where we did this, and it changed everything. You can't find another way to do that and to get the results in terms of student learning gains. So I'm really excited to get moving on that.
And I shouldn't have left BFA out. I don't know if Chris or Sarah, who's been here all 2 weeks, has any thoughts on stuff, because you've already got the schedule.
We already have it. I mean, I think there was some questions around busing, and that was about it.
Okay.
All right, any other questions from anybody?
More of a comment.
Nina,
Yes, of course. I'm the SATEC parent, if you couldn't figure out, Angela, I know. No, I haven't got anything negative about it. People are actually anxious to see how it's gonna turn out. And to be honest, they're excited about it, which I was kind of pleasantly surprised to hear
Me
that.
getting out at 2:35 on Friday?
Well, just the more
For the
collaboration,
students, right?
well, not so much for parents, but just to see more collaboration with the teachers.
Yeah,
So I've had, a few feedback, but it's been positive.
that's great.
So-
Thank you for saying that.
And I would just add, I don't know, not a lot of people saw it, but there was a thing on Channel 5, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was interviewed and a parent who was not too happy was interviewed, and a Facebook page was put up there. But also the NEA, president of the NEA was interviewed. And all in all, it was a very positive segment, all 2 minutes, I think. But just talking about it and how other school districts throughout the state are doing this already. And so I was glad they put it out there.
Good. All right, item 6B, Administrators Retreat.
So I didn't talk to my colleagues across the table about this, but I would tell you to please feel free to tag team on me with this, on the administrative retreat, on things that I might miss. But we did have an administrative retreat over that was last Wednesday and Thursday. And it was basically 15 or 16 hours of retreating. And much of it was around where we were and where we're moving to, and the initiatives that we're working on, and what our goals are moving forward, as well as getting to know each other, because we have a significant number of people in this room who are new. So team building. Brenda did a great team building exercise for us on the first day that even though the wrong people won, I mean.
Every time.
No,
The right people won. I have to say that.
But we did have a good time with that. I thought it went very, very well. We ended up talking about our 5-year plan and our goals. We weren't able to finish that, so we'll be doing that in September, finishing up on those last few areas. But it was some good discussions on some pretty, one might say, some pretty heavy topics as far as what our challenges are and what we need to do to move forward now that we've passed that plateau of being a newly merged district and can move forward in teaching instruction area. Would people like to add anything to that?
We'd just like to say we did some advancing as well as retreating.
It's advancing backwards.
No, we did a lot. We got a lot accomplished, so it was very productive.
I think we're all very excited about the transformation in the central office structure and what that can mean in terms of student supports. And we've got this great team of people who have joined us, and it was a very, very good, very productive retreat. That first day of however many, 14, 20 hours the first day, flew right by. 14 hours.
You're kind of prone to exaggeration.
If you held that at what bar?
Exactly. Okay.
I just want to mention that I thought it was also very good to have facilitated conversation around what we've accomplished and next steps. I thought that was very helpful in trying to chart the course for the future.
And we're looking for that information to feed our board retreat.
And actually, a lot of the stuff we talked about will be part of the retreat to go move forward as far as relative to goals.
Yep.
And you had asked about what have we been doing up to this point,
Yeah.
and
What have you been doing?
we'll have.
She's on my side.
You two can't sit together anymore. But I think we will have some good information for you. So.
Can I ask, just during the retreat too, was there things that was identified that maybe hasn't been working so well?
I would say that was done rather well, being one of the new members to the group. There's nice facilitation of, what have we accomplished? What are things that are kind of in that area of we've accomplished but we still need to do more of, and what are things we haven't done?
Yep.
And how do we get over those pieces?
Perfect.
And that was done the first day, and the second day was, okay, so now how's that fall into the 5-year plan? And it was done really well, I think, and as Kevin said, we're in the midst of that right now, but being a new person looking at it, there were definitely some themes there that I think will really tie our work together.
Thank you.
Good. Item 6C, we need to confirm the hiring of a new assistant principal at BFA. So I would like to move that to executive session. We don't need a finding under 1 VSA 313A3, the employment or evaluation of an employee. Item 7A, Assistant Superintendent Report.
Thank you,
Bill.
Jeff. Sorry I missed you all in July to give my report that would usually be then. I'm very excited to be here at Maple Run. It's been a great 2 months, or a month and a half, getting to know everyone.
You're not nervous at all about your choice?
No, I'm not, actually. It's a lot of my colleagues have asked me. I've had some probing from other superintendents that I actually had one today, and I said it's just been really great working with a team here. I believe, and one of the things that coming to Maple Run has really taught or affirmed for me, it didn't teach this to me, but affirmed to me, is that there aren't districts that are better or worse than each other. People are working on different things. And there are strengths here that I can say that this is the 4th district / supervisory union that I've worked in my 20 plus years career in Vermont. And in all those 4 different districts, they were working on different things, but there doesn't one that's further ahead that you can say, hey, that's a better district. I can't use that adjective or word. It's just different. I mean, the work that's being done here around supports for students with bringing Alexis's position in is just tremendous. I don't know where else that's happening in Vermont. That's a really groundbreaking piece that the board, you should be very excited about. The supports that's going to provide students and the team that's forming around for an MTSS team. That's just incredible. It's something I haven't seen before, and it's actually great. I think I may have mentioned this when I was with you in April, but it's been about 22, 25 years. I haven't really counted, obviously, since I lived in Saint Albans, so it's nice to be back in the community.
Same train whistles.
Same train whistles. I still don't have the train schedule down. I had it down then because I lived down Lake Street and I was having to come across it. So, I got caught in that actually yesterday going to city school. So walking to city school, I stood next to the train for a good 5 or 8 minutes. That's why I was late, Joan, yesterday. So I'm learning those train schedules. But it's been great. And I've had a little bit of time to get out in the community, but I would like to have more of that, and I hope to have more of that. I'm actually trying to spend 1 or 2 nights a week just doing community events with the school or something that's going on around here. I really, as I think I've said to all of you, one of my passions as an educator is the connection between community and school. That's really valuable, and my doctoral work is right in the middle of that I'm working on. But along with learning about the community, I've had a chance to meet with all the principals and get to know the schools a little bit, with all the facilities directors, and that's been great. I have to say, everyone, to almost a fault, has been really supportive and willing for me to say, hey, I'm the new guy here, so I gotta learn some things from scratch, because I'm trying not to assume what I've done in any of the other 3 supervisory unions is what's happening in Maple Run. And I think I trip over that almost daily myself. Because I start answering it some way, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not really sure I'll figure that out. Let me go ask someone to make sure my thinking is right. But people have been really, really supportive in that. It's been great, and it's exciting. I know, Jeff, you and I talked a little bit through email, and just wanted to give you a little report of some of the things that I've been paying attention to in the past month and a half so far since being on the job. One of my real focuses has been getting to learn the human resources department and how that's functioning for Maple Run. There's a lot of procedures and policies there and practices, and as I said just a minute ago, I'm trying not to assume that the way I might have run it was the way it is running now. So it's just making sure that I'm grounding myself. Along with that, we've had to hire 2 positions. You may or may not have heard that Diana Kelly has moved on. She was our front desk person, but also our HR assistant. And so we've hired Aaron Smith, who started this week, and seems to be settling in real well and taking up with the job. As well as that the board approved the hiring of an administrative assistant Medicaid clerk to support myself, Alexis, and Mona. So that position I just offered and was accepted yesterday to Michelle LeDuc from Georgia, and she'll be joining us, I think, the end of next week. We're still squaring that one down. The other pieces with this under the Human Resources Department is last year the administrative team worked hard here to develop a supervision and evaluation system. So Joan and Sean have been a great support for me to learn that, and Sean has been helping. We're we're making that electronic system. And we rolled that out at the retreat to all the administrators, and we're refining that. And it will allow really what I think is the key, and the administrators who built the system here, the person who's doing the thinking is the one who's doing the learning. So it's highly structured on reflection by the employee. And that's a great thing. Traditional supervision and evaluation systems before were a lot on the administrator to do all the writing. So there wasn't a lot of I don't want to say forced, but required reflection of the employee. So I think this is a really good system that we're going to.
And this will be consistent throughout the district?
Throughout the district. It's consistent throughout. We talked about that. And I think, I can't say because we still need to finish some things from a retreat, but we'll be spending some time on that during our leadership team meetings as a team. We've also are in the midst of implementing with that same piece of software, electronic system for approving and tracking professional development for all the staff. We're going to start with the teachers this year, and I should have said that with supervision evaluations. The teacher, that piece for the electronic is teachers who we're starting with this year when I get successful, and then we'll probably expand that out. And the other piece was that I know the team had started to have a discussion on what are we doing for our newest employees. And in the education world, we call it about induction. In the private sector, you might call it onboarding. But how do we help our new staff be successful? And I know that you probably have heard of the mentoring systems that are required in Vermont. But we're trying to expand that a little bit more and say, how can we help our new staff be really successful as early as possible? And that it goes beyond just mentoring for setting that up, because we know that our staff needs to have a lot more skills than what they're coming out of from pre-service education. Just having that degree and that endorsement to teach doesn't mean that they're where we need them for Maple Run for our higher standards that we hold. So we're working on that as well, and that'll be a work in progress throughout the year and looking towards next year for that, for start. The other two things that have been on my task list are the construction projects at BFA and at Fairfield. So we're getting those up and rolling right now. At Fairfield, I think you know we're working with Peter Cross. He's our architect engineer for the Fairfield project. We're really getting to a place, and Sean, if I missed something here, let me know, where we're finalizing the plan, the site plan, and where the actual footprint of the building's going to be. We're having some issues, and we've solved them with property boundaries and setbacks. So those have been solved. What that will do is the addition for the music and art room will be on the north side of the building, but we'll project out, I believe, about 10 feet from the front entrance, but it'll be in alignment with the overhang that happens over the sidewalk. So it'll look nice, it just will come forward a little bit, and that's because of some property setback issues.
So it won't be going at an angle anymore?
No angles,
Okay.
we're nice and square.
And that saves some trees too, I think, is that right?
No, it's not gonna save any trees. Those maples are coming down.
All right.
And the neighbors are happy.
I gotta look at him because I haven't gotten an ass.
I haven't gone and asked. I feel like Buster is accepting this with grace.
Good.
Yeah.
And you might hear a little bit because it's this weekend, there will be some soil borings happening. Test for ledge, to design the foundations. So we're hoping to get going with that. We're currently looking at different interior wall solutions, whether it be masonry or wallboard with metal studs. There's trade-offs there, so we're looking at that. And really it's gonna come down to a cost and where we end up with the cost estimates of the construction on that.
So when do we plan to go out to bid for that?
We're hoping for November. I'm asking for a timeline right now from Peter, and I don't have that back at this point. And I'll be reporting to you later on in my monthly reports where we are for that.
Okay.
The idea is to be starting construction in the spring. So, and what I've talked to Peter about is, having it all ready to go first day of school for 2021. So, from what I see in my experience.
FY21.
FY21.
Yeah.
2021. For my experience for this size of project, that's very doable. That's not a push. With everything that we're doing there from renovating. At BFA right now, as you know, we're working with Laz, and I'm gonna need some help with his last.
Skangus.
Skanga,
Skangus.
thank you. I have a pronunciation issue.
Just say Laz, it's okay.
I'll say Laz, okay, that's great, as long as everyone knows Laz. Right now, his firm is finishing up the on-site survey up at BFA, between the building and outside the building. We've been looking at a little bit of different parking lot solutions. We're definitely gonna have as many, if not more, parking spaces than what was talked about in the bond vote. But we're looking at trying to bring the bus loop closer to the connector between the two buildings. And that should help for efficiency for arrival and dismissal every day, as well as finding a way for the buses to get out a little easier so they aren't having to snake through all the cars.
I know you're thinking about flipping it to the other side, so
It would be on the
the non-Main Street side?
non-Main street side, thank you. I do not have all, even though I did live here, I don't have all the street names down. So it would be it would be the east side of the connector, be on the back side, so you wouldn't see it, they wouldn't be coming
Right.
in and out of Main Street.
Yeah.
Chris was saying he really liked that, trying to get the traffic off of Main Street. We would probably have a gate that would be open for the buses at arrival and dismissal off of, and I'm gonna need help with the street, Chris, that's the.
Ferris?
Ferris, thank you.
Ferris, we
So
go.
they would be, the buses would come up and down Ferris Street.
Okay.
So the buses would come up and down Ferris or from the old hospital entrance?
The old hospital entrance would be used for the busing.
Wouldn't?
No.
No,
So the busing would all be as Bill described in the, what I'm gonna call the back side of the parking
So
lot.
across Lincoln and down Ferris?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, that, we can
That's a
actually
one-way
get,
street practically.
we can get more parking into the parking area by the old hospital area. That way,
And
because
the
otherwise.
cars, as I recall, will still be coming in through Main Street.
Right.
So
Yeah, so
You
there,
won't have buses and
parent,
cars.
yeah, that's the nice thing, is the parent drop-off loop and the bus drop-off loop are two different places and they won't be crossing.
Although,
make that flow.
I'll just say, I drop off on the east side and I'm in a long line of cars that drop off on the east side,
Yeah.
coming down Ferris. So I don't know how that would be changed, so they have to come in through,
Main Street.
doesn't matter to me. But it matters to a lot of people.
Yeah,
Or through the BFA, the hospital lot.
yeah, from what we saw. We're still working on that site plan right now. We're still working on a schedule as well. The idea is to start construction this winter. There are some pieces that I'm checking out with Laz about requirements for bidding and the time it takes to get that bidding done. The BFA project's actually tighter than the Fairfield project because the BFA project's a larger project and the time to get all the bidding done properly in alignment with Vermont statute.
So does there need to be any talk with, I'm gonna say, the city in terms of, because I know that even currently with parents coming down Ferris to drop off kids, there are buses from city school that, I'll say, block off Ferris, so cars can't get back and forth and then are crossing Lincoln Ave. So I didn't know if there's gonna be
So I will
any-
look into that, Susan. I
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to get to that, and I'll talk with Laz
Just something to
about
think
that as well.
about.
No, that's a really good suggestion.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of
Yeah.
knowing the congestion,
Yep,
driving that
yep.
congestion on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
And we have a little
Meeting.
time to look at that when school starts.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah, and I'll look into that. It's a really good suggestion. So I'll talk with the city about that, and maybe even the police department as well, as what they might see for safety issues. Yeah. That's my update, Jeff. If there's any other questions, I'm glad to field them.
it's a pretty good first update. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Item 7B, we have a request for leave. Andrea.
So there's a paraeducator working at BFA in the Learning Center who has requested a leave of absence for the year, and we would support that request.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I would look for a motion to approve the staff request, the request for leave for Stephanie Brannon.
I'll make that motion. I'll
Thank you,
second.
Al, thank you, Sue. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 5.5 to 0. Thank you. Item 8A, warrants. Thank you, Al.
Move to warrants be approved as printed.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Any discussion about the warrants? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Hand those over to somebody. There you go. Item 8B, superintendent's report. There you are.
So the only other thing that I would want to speak about today is just a reminder to everyone that Friday is our convocation. It,
9 a.m.?
excuse me?
9 a.m.?
It's going to start at 8:45, social hour, if you want to come in for coffee or anything like that, in the hockey rink. And 9:30 will be the beginning of the actual convocation in the tennis courts.
Social 45 minutes.
Half hour, because we need 15 minutes to actually get everybody in there. Which we'll talk about, because I want to make sure we have a procedure for that.
Do we have to practice?
Close. Everything is all set. It would be, as I say, I've invited all the board. It would be helpful to us. It's not imperative if your schedule is such that you don't know, but it would be helpful for us to know who's coming, number one, so we can have a place for you. And number two, you're invited for lunch afterwards. After it's all done at 11:45, we have lunch back in the hockey rinks. And the Abbey puts on a real good lunch for over 600 people. So just let me know. I know Jeff's going. I don't remember. Did you say you were going to try to see?
I'm gonna try it, depends on how many patients are in the
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Alicia, you're coming. Steve? Great. It's great to have you there. I think it's great for people to see you there. Be prepared, I will introduce you. But we will have a spot for you right off to the, in the front side. So anyway, we're excited about it. I think the kids will be performing again.
Do you know what time they're performing?
If everything works out right, and we can stay on schedule, the performance should be around 10:20.
Okay.
But then you miss my talk, so.
Well, if some of my patients don't show up, I'll be there early.
Yeah, but I think, as I said, everything is all set and we're prepared to go. That's all I have. This is questions.
Any questions for Kevin? Okay, principals report, even though we're in the central office today, but, Chris?
So I'm sure a lot of people will report about their openings today. We had all our staff back. And immersed ourselves in the work right away. We had an opening meeting that we started with some really good collaborative circles, so that everybody had a chance to talk about what the nature of Woodward highlights from their summer and then their goals for the year. It was really just a good way to break the ice. We had about 12 new people on staff, so I think it was a good way to integrate them into the work and into the culture of the school. And then then teachers had a focus on technology training, the unified classroom. And then in the afternoon, we had the good folks from NCSS come in and tough topic, but they did do a presentation on suicide prevention. As you know, that's been a very difficult matter for our school and community, and it was really powerful to have those folks come in and work with our staff. And I think the takeaway is that we want to make sure our teachers are supported during those times, because we expect them to be the caregivers, and they do a wonderful job at that and supporting the students. But we really also need to make sure that we're supporting the teachers who provide that level of comfort to kids. I think that was my biggest, I sort of knew that intellectually, we talked about it, but having that presentation really made that point clear to me. And I think that was my biggest learning going forward. So, powerful day. I did want to as I always do, view the packets from the professional development session this morning. Just for your information, it has some of the management matters in there, but also some articles about teaching and learning, our schedules, our professional development goals for the year, my opening PowerPoint, and so now, and also correspondence to freshmen and to our staff. Welcoming back. So it gives you a pretty good idea of what we've been up to. It has our safety protocols in there as well. Just a lot of good information for you as questions come up. And at any point during the year, I'd be glad to contextualize any of it for you.
Nice. Any questions?
How's the snack bar coming?
It's pretty good.
I've seen it, looks good.
Is
it almost
it's
done?
Awesome. It's the eighth one in the world as far as I'm concerned.
I've suggested they put apartments.
I mean, the last I heard, they were all set to open up for the first football game.
It's got quite a structure. It was beautiful. I had a chance when we had the board meeting actually a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was just
Every
awesome.
day it's like changing, so they're cleaning up and getting.
And I haven't gotten any phone calls from Ellen, so I think she's okay.
I think she's excited.
Yeah.
It's good that she's going to be doing that with us.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Pleasure.
Heather, anything to add?
I really enjoyed the circle protocol that we used for community building as we started the school year. That was what Carl Kane and Luke Clark came up with a great video that was playing as teachers came in of teachers over the summer with their family and just kind of rolling pictures of what they did. And then we broke into 13 groups of 8 and did just some community building circles. But Chris already talked about that, so I just kind of wanted to say how much I've enjoyed having Sarah come on board as the other assistant principal with me, and Matt Bloom, working with him as the new dean of students. Already in the short time that they've been here, we've collaborated on matters of truancy and attendance and looking at that and what we can do to support our students, and a culture of respect, which is a way of saying discipline behavior management. And they really supported me and helped me in collaborating with the faculty around those concerns and faculty voice. So they just came right on and jumped on the moving train and have been working with me. And likewise with professional development, Mona has partnered with me, but then Sarah came right in and is working on it. And to that end, I just want to say that Andrea and Alexis have partnered with me and have made time to come up to the school to attend the culture of respect meetings, the attendance meetings. So I just feel like we're really launching this year with a spirit of collaboration that's really been great. So that's
It's nice to hear.
really great.
Now we'll hear what Sarah thinks about it.
Yeah, remember I was nice to you.
It's already starting.
Yeah, so the last week and a half has been enlightening, it's been productive. I've been able to really immerse myself in the BFA community, and not just BFA, but I was also involved in the administrative retreat. And so being able to kind of get caught up to speed on a lot of the different things that are happening throughout the district was actually a really nice introduction to my time here. In the last week and a half, I've been in on meetings regarding student achievement, student learning and teaching. We've talked a lot about how we can improve systems around PLPs and proficiencies for graduation. We've talked a lot about, we had the data teams meeting and how we're going to use data more in order to inform teaching and learning. I've been in on several interviews for new staff around integrationist, flexible pathways, and different positions that we're currently looking at. I've been involved in that. And just being able to meet also with Mona and other teachers at different times to kind of get the teacher perspective on how different things are working, some things that they've done in the past, things that need to be improved on in the future. And I just really feel like it's a really supportive community, that it's a community that really cares a lot about students, student learning, their success, and it's a collaborative environment for sure. not only at BFA, but also throughout the district. So that's a lot for a week and a half. I feel like I've been here a lot longer than that by now. But I am enjoying my time, and people have been really kind and kind of, getting me up to speed on what's happening. So, yeah.
Good. Excellent. Welcome. Leanne?
Hello, good evening. It's nice to be back and have the teachers in the building, and it'll be really good next week when the kids are there. It brings the school alive. It might not surprise you that we also had in-service learning today, and this morning we worked on transferable skills, trying to find a way to hit it home with kids around self-direction, dependability, reliability, self-management, self-awareness. So our teacher leaders have worked hard to create a sort of a course to support students when they come back. And in the afternoon, we worked on Unified Classroom and our Teacher Pro, making sure that we had our standards all uploaded and ready to go so that we could get a good head start. We have had a few facility upgrades, so when and if you come to visit, point those out to you. We had some teachers that moved classrooms and some others that expanded. We only have 2 new staff, so it should be a relatively easy transition. And then lastly, I just want to remind you of our alumni barbecue tomorrow from 4:30 to 7:30. It'll be right around the same time as the freshman orientation, so we're inviting back our sophomores, juniors, and seniors, current students, students that have been with us in the past.
Can I bring my Tech Center Students of the Year?
Yes, please.
Both of them?
Yes, so they can admire their plaque.
No, he wants to admire the.
I looked the last time we were there.
So Chef Adam tells me we're having chicken tacos and street corn, so not your usual barbecue.
Good. It's real good. Lisa?
The only thing to add is that we'll be working on the ask, and they will be visiting at the beginning of March.
You
So
might
we'll be
want
wrapping
to
that up.
explain
Is that accreditation?
That is accreditation, and it's our 10-year accreditation. So
Okay.
there's been a lot of work that was completed last year, and the work that's being finalized this year is meeting the standards. They provide us a list of standards, and then we have to provide evidence to show if we are meeting the standards or if we need to do additional work to meet the standards. And then we present them the information, and then they will come back to us with their recommendations and accommodations. And then we create our action plan with them. And it stands for New England Association of Secondary Schools
In college.
and colleges. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Joan? I see you back there. I know you were trying to duck down,
So we spent more today laughing. It was again our kickoff. I think as a principal, this is the hardest day of the year for us because this is the days you don't sleep the night before. You're worried about every single thing. And once the kids arrive, the teachers take over. But when it's just the teachers that arrive, you're the one who's on, you're the one who's been here, you're the one who has to have like everything all ready to go. And between the two of us, we've spent so much time getting ready for today that there was just points in today where we just cracked up and we're just like with them, and it felt really good and just to be part of our school family and have things working. And my side job, I actually have been getting to support the convocation stuff for Friday, and it is just beautiful and amazing seeing all of it come together.
Can you give us a hint, like what they're gonna do this year?
I don't want to give you a hint, but I can tell you that when we started on Monday, we had no idea what anything was going to look like. This is Wednesday, and they still hadn't had it blocked. By the end of the day, I think we finally had it blocked. Tomorrow will be their day of rehearsal. We do dress rehearsal tomorrow afternoon, and Friday morning they perform. But we've got students from 4th grade on up, and they're all participating as equal participants. They all get to have ideas. They all get to put their ideas out there. It is just beautiful to watch this all come together, because while it's the adults in the background get enough ready for this to be a success, then the kids take it over, and it goes from our voice to theirs, and it's just so much fun. And so I'm kind of like splitting my time between two of like my favorite things to do. But it's so worth it. So anyhow,
Good,
thank you.
looking forward to it. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, yes, I'm back here. Ditto everything Joan said. I also just want to add that although last night feels like Sunday night before the first day of school, the night before did as well because we had new teachers come in and we have quite a few of them. And I was schooled. I'm very much the chopper now. I know how to use knives because Joan taught me exactly how everything should be chopped and put a great spread out for them yesterday, and their mentors came and had lunch with them. And then the students from the convocation also came, so it was like the cafeteria was full, and it was a really nice experience. But it's nice to have everyone back well rested and ready to go. And we did do a lot of laughing, we did have a lot of fun today. And there's more to come.
Good. Thank you. Angela.
So we also had our new staff in yesterday morning. We had 4 new teachers and 4 new support staff. Had a nice introduction. Bill was able to come and join us for most of that. And then, like everyone else, had a good opening today, just getting all the information out, doing some training around bullying, harassment, emergency procedures, mandated reporting, just getting everybody on the right foot, and also our school goals around our action plan around climate, math, and literacy, just getting everybody on the same page with that. The other piece I want to mention, we did have a number of building projects that we're still finishing things on. We had the walls and doors added to the 1st and 2nd grade wings in there, and that is completed. But then we had to, get the floors waxed, our new sidewalks are in, we had new flooring in the front and back entryways as well as the cafeteria. And that's all been completed, so it's just that last week of just getting everything put back together so we're ready for the students. We're looking forward to the next couple of days, placing our new students. We have presenter on trauma who's coming for resiliency for all the schools actually, Joelle Van Lent. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow and our convocation on Friday.
Thank you. Jason? You were just in time.
I'm worried we're just on principles.
No, just to add, Mary Rose Bedard has done a fantastic job over the course of the summer with our Open Doors programs and all our offerings. She recently held her preseason soccer clinic, which was very well attended. And so we're gearing up to hit the ground running here as soon as we get back with kids. So we're pretty excited about this, what the season holds, great numbers. So we're excited for that.
Now, I remember last season baseball, we had to combine, or do we have that problem with soccer? Or?
Not that I know of, no one's reached out that we have to do that. So I think City usually fields a team and Fairfield usually does as well, so.
I say it was a problem, I think it probably worked out pretty well.
It did work out.
The kids got to.
We actually were at that point with baseball where it's like, if we had a few more kids, we could have done 2 joint teams, so it was kind of heavy, but we'd rather have that problem than not enough to let anyone play. So.
Right.
But we'll just keep crossing that bridge when we come to it, just work together and make sure kids get a chance to play.
Good, thank you. I think that's everybody, right? Sean?
Save the best for last, Mr. Morrow.
You like to talk.
I was actually a little relieved, but so I found out that we are a Rise Vermont Gold School this year. We were silver last year, but we hit gold this year. So that's exciting. We don't have a way to do walk to school in Fairfield because you'd be walking for like 3 years to get to school. So what we're doing is we're coming up with a plan to walk around the school on certain days. So we've got our walking path and we're going to use that instead. So that should, if there were a platinum level of Rise Vermont, that's where we'd be headed. But we've been working on the facility a lot. We replaced 4 ugly old ratty carpets with solid surface flooring over the summer. That was really exciting. The building smells nicer. And my crew over the summer has been working just incredibly hard, cleaning from top to bottom. And yesterday you would have walked in and thought a hurricane hit, and by the time I walked in this morning, it was completely perfect. So I just want to give a shout out to our crew and all the facilities crews who have been working so hard over the summer to make these buildings sanitary and beautiful for our kids and our faculty. There was something else I was gonna say, but it's escaped me, so I'm done.
Are you happy with the construction changes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I am. I brought the plans if anyone wants to see them later, but I think it looks really great. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. Yeah, being out of the common school and being in one building is just gonna change our lives, so
Yeah.
we're real excited.
Good.
Oh, I wanted to say the field, that's right, the field, behind the school, yeah, we knew there was more. We don't own the field behind.
I was
the school.
stalling for you.
The town does, and it was actually 8 feet different from one corner of the field to the other until this summer the town got in there and decided to do some work. I think they got a grant or something, and they leveled the field tremendously, and they're gonna be adding, I think there's a baseball diamond getting added, there's a softball field or vice versa, something like that. The soccer field got planted with seed and looks like it's ready for our soccer season to begin, so that was exciting.
Are they gonna take some of the posts out so they can still use the hill for sliding for?
I have no answers to that question.
What do they look like? Do they look like concrete posts or?
No,
what
they're
are
like
they?
great big telephone pole posts, cedar they're bigger than, but it'd be nice if that side hill was still open for.
I have no information.
Thank you, Sean. All right, board announcements. Does anybody have an announcement? We did all get nice cards from Rise Vermont, and I think this is really belongs to you guys for all the work that you did. But they said, thank you so much for supporting the Maple Run Wellness Policy. We have set a high standard for the region and the state to follow. This policy supports our students and their long-term health and wellness. Thank you, Rise Vermont. So, now you guys have to make it happen. Anybody have anything? No. Okay, agenda items for future meetings. We meet in 2 weeks. All right. Back to our regular schedule.
We have nothing.
But, so that report,
They'll be done at the retreat.
it will be, okay, so it's a couple months after that.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
got
where
it.
we're been, yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it, thanks.
Okay, I would look for a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment of an employee under 1 VSA 313A3.
So,
Thank you, Al.
Second.
Thank you, Nina. Oh, I would like to invite the superintendent and the assistant superintendent and Heather.
Heather, you were on it, right? The committee? You weren't, were you on the committee?
For
For Sarah?
Yes. She called out my references.
And Chris?
And Chris. Okay?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I already got Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mona.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are in executive session.
Oh, do I need to do something with like a piece of paper?